Hey guys, here aka Gene. So I apologize for not posting yesterday. I was supposed to post the third track yesterday of the 8-track playlist that I'm creating at the moment for racing for both consoles, Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, which is basically available in the link in the description below. For this initial track, I'll be posting the entire playlist, which is available on my social club if you want to try it now. But for those of you just want to wait for the video, that's fine as well. But yeah, the entire 8-track playlist will be eventually posted on the 8th track. But yeah, yesterday I didn't post because I had to make a lot of changes to all my tracks that I made, so that took many hours. All the tire lines that I initially placed on the inside lines have been replaced with barriers. There was a massive discussion about this, even for the most proclaimed racers out there, I suppose, on GTA 5. You know, it's just the tire lines is not really something that's suited for comfortable battles. I suppose you technically have to make a leeway, because when you're racing and someone's really close to a tire line, they have a possibility of hitting it. As soon as you hit a tire line on this game on the inside line, your car completely full stops and turns 90 degrees to block both lines in the road. Your car completely blocks off the road. So what this does causes chain reactions, because you literally cannot react if you're right behind in that battle against the person in front of you who hits the tire line. So that kind of gets frustrating if you're, you know, for example, you're doing 4 laps straight consistently. In the final lap, you know, you're just about to grab that win, but the final corner ruins it for you with the tire lines. That's it. It's an easy overtake for the person behind. So what this means, it kind of ruins the initial feel of a fun racing environment where people race properly with clean overtakes and battles. So because we're aiming for the fun approach and not seriousness where a single mistake costs you the entire race like real life, we don't want to do that because this is GTA 5 and not real life Sims. So the point is, this is where we introduced the barrier system, where two-wheel apexing is allowed. So that's basically how it is. This time I sort of contradict my previous point. In real life, we know in any sort of racing concept, to take an appropriate inside apex line, you need to hit your curb, you know, with the 2 wheels that you're approaching the inside line with. So that's to get the most out of that particular corner. So we've sort of designed, or I've sort of initially designed my tracks that way, so you can sort of see on the cornering right now on these chicanes, see the gap for 2 wheels to go on the apex. So this is just gonna help reduce the chances of chain reaction when a collision occurs. You saw a perfect example just right there on the exit of the second chicane before the hairpin on the right-hander. Picano hits the barrier and he went flying towards the left due to the momentum. That's just simple physics. So that way, you know, Quaper was right behind him. He was able to squeeze through the inside line, which he initially prioritized. So if that was a tire line on the other hand on the inside, you know, on the corner, and Picano hit that, Picano's car would have stopped like a pile of sack of noodles just dropping on the floor. So Quaper would have just went right, rammed him, and Quaper could have completely fucked up his race too and allowed me to overtake pointlessly with no fun or no battles. That's the reason why we changed it to barriers. I think a lot of people are now changing the initial tracks on the spreadsheets to barriers as well to suit the community. This is quite simply going to create awesome consistent battles, consistent racing, and just generally fun overall. Although it's, you know, tire lines do look more sexy in the game, but we're not going for looks. At the end of the day, we're going for actual racing. Looks is second priority, but barriers can still look nice if you craft them properly and design them properly. And when you create tracks, you know, in the past, like I said, I wasn't really focusing on actual racing tracks on GTA 5. I was just focusing on something that suited the game, you know, something that is enjoyable in the game, like stunt racing and stuff like that, something similar to that. But I didn't initially implement ramps, only for a few races. But I intended my tracks to be for non-contact, so no involvement in actual racing with overtakes and clean battles. That's one of the reasons why my past 75 tracks have all to do with just literally non-contact tight alleyway, back alley races. They are fun in non-contact, I must admit. However, that's not the approach we're going for now. So these 8 brand new tracks I'm creating now, I'm literally putting hours and hours of thought process into appropriate lines you can take that's comfortable, and a lot of overtaking battle zones as well, because that's where we want to see, you know, people going for overtakes and not just long boring straights, which, you know, I must admit there's quite a few in my races, but I've also balanced that out with insane overtaking zones which you can do on chicanes and hairpins as well as these corners, which I've tried to balance it with. It's always good when you create a track to have a resting points as well after quite a few long runs of constant cornering, hairpins and chicanes. You also want to allow a breaking point, a sort of relaxation point, because if you constantly make people put effort in, the chances are they'll make a mistake in the long run, because our concentration levels aren't that great for, overall speaking, generally speaking for everyone. It's just kind of logical, because think about it, obviously when there's a lot to do at one point and you got a resting point, and obviously everyone will improve, and that's just common sense. So you want to keep that balance going. When you create a track, you really got to think about that. At the same time, when you craft the props, you want to make it so it looks nice as well, to the point where nothing's sort of off point. Because here's the thing with me personally, when I'm doing a track, I want to be in that mindset of a proper racetrack. Although this is just GTA 5, still a racetrack can look nice because we have the power to create races and we have the angles available to place them properly to make them look nice. So with my OCD levels, I will literally spend about a good half an hour on one particular corner with the barriers to make sure they look smooth and nice. Because when I'm racing and I see a prop out of place and it's slightly sticking out, or it's not in level with a corner or an apex or whatnot, then I'll be put off with my lines that I take. I'll probably take them slower than usual and I get distracted. That's just the way I feel when I'm racing. And if a track is made properly, I'm comfortable taking that corner, especially when it's designed like the barriers like this, where they allow apex cornering, two-wheel cornering. Then in your head, you already got the lines sorted out. So you literally, once you've done these tracks a few times, you don't even have to worry about the barrier being there, because you know you've got your lines and always be the same without any distraction because of how it's designed. So that's one thing I focus on, my lines. That's one thing to keep up your consistency, to not get too distracted by things. But like I said, OCD prop placements can definitely help in situations like that with track designers. Quite a few tracks out there are absolutely amazing, but when you create a track with props, it gets even more difficult to satisfy people, just because it's your own design and people find it difficult to adapt to your sort of approach to a race, or your mindset, or how you create the track. And some people just do not like adjusting to things like that, and just want it to be the original version of how it is in the game. So for example, what I just went through, that section, sort of like a weird left hand curve, which I've designed with the barriers. But for some people doing this for the first time will be like, wow, that is so uncomfortable. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that simply because I've never done this in free roam. I've never done this in an actual race, because people just tend to stick to the roads. So that's why a lot of these races, made by props, a lot of disgusting looks. I mean, a lot of people make them, but don't really make them nice and neat. So it kind of gets, no one really plays these tracks. So I feel in a racetrack anyway, my opinion, everything needs to look nice and neat, but at the same time, making sure you're allowing nice overtaking zones and allowing clean battles. In your mind, you got to really think from your point of view. Now, if you are racing your track, I'm just giving advice for content creators that want to make proper race tracks. If you want to race on a track, you want to make sure you're looking at all those factors before you create a track. Look at an overview of the track and see how you would take the lines yourself, how you would, be in a battle, in a situation, in a particular corner. Those things you got to think about. So nice battles do occur on my playlist, guys. Give it a go. At the moment, I've got 6 tracks available for both Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 on in a playlist at this very moment that's been completely recreated to precise OCD levels. I've got 2 more tracks to create for the 8-track playlist for competitive racing. Certainly give it a go. Lap times are being recorded. We currently only have 50 tracks on the spreadsheet to make it more competitive for hot lapping, if that's interested. We won't go above 50 tracks. We're going to keep it like this for all these tracks for next gen as well. Make sure you guys definitely give that a go. Appreciate it. Enjoy the playlist, guys. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. Enjoy clean racing, because that's the way the tracks are designed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Check it. Sign out. Good night. Peace. Yeah. Me, I don't really care what people say. I don't really watch what I do. Yeah, like clue up.